what do you experience when you're channeling?
Yeah.
What is the relationship with Georgia Jean that you have? I'm going to ask to circle
I'll
that.
ask to circle that, yeah, because I'd be curious what they have to say
I
about
am curious
that.
too. Yeah, why Georgia?
Yeah. She
Just
said
kidding.
with a sneer on her face, like, meet me and go high school. Why Georgia?
I'm kidding. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
I know.
We're going to touch on autism.
I really had to go through a lot of all that stuff too. Like, why me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I making this up?
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it seems more than,
That's a lot to take
I'm
on.
worthy of.
Yeah. Autism, the Mandela Effect, I want to
Yeah.
ask about. What is the quantum field?
Well, let's see how many we get.
Well,
in
yeah,
this
and
thing.
then I was going to go over homelessness and ask about Antarctica. I don't know if I'm going to fit all those in,
Yeah.
but this is the roster just to give you a little hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to just ask them about different things.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, me personally channeling, you asking me this before.
Yeah,
we
like
started
how?
filming,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
like,
just So what exactly happens when you channel? Like, do you get downloads and then you like the zip files and then you repeat what you just got
I love that.
the downloads
do.
on,
That's
or are they
fun.
actually taking over and you're like an unconscious channel, or are you a conscious channel in there? So tell us how.
Yeah.
Welcome to Spread Your Third Eye podcast. I am your host, Mia Wrights, and we are here to take you beyond the veil into other dimensions with my girl, Georgia Jean.
What's up, everybody?
A higher dimensional channeler. She
Yeah.
likes to call herself a broad spectrum channeler, but I
You
like
can
to call her higher dimensional.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
higher dimensional sounds good.
Everything she channels that are 3D and up. No, you're actually going like 9th to 12th dimension
I
channeling.
mean, we go pretty high. We go 1 degree off source, which
Yeah.
is pretty much where source just puts in enough separation that it can interact, basically.
to actually communicate.
To actually do so. Yeah, and that's we don't do that on the show that much because it is not very verbal. We do that in the conference calls more.
The Monday Night Awakenings,
Or
guys, those are
personal
amazing.
sessions.
Amazing. Every Monday she has from 6 to 7 Pacific Standard Time. She transmits, and it's always just what's going on with the energy in the world, what's happening, solar flares, or open portals. And
Open portals it's for the group that shows up. It's for the collective that is calling it in.
yeah.
And I love it so
It's the best.
much.
I don't
It's
miss
the
a Monday.
best. We
I
don't
always
miss
call 'em
Monday.
out
I don't
because-
miss a Monday because I have to be there, but no.
Well, oh,
But I will tell you the places I have done that call from, because I'm often road tripping across the country. I mean, I've done it from truck stops. I've done it in
Mount
national
Shasta.
parks, Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
I've done it.
She doesn't-
at all different people's houses. You can usually
no
tell.
excuses.
There's no
from
excuses.
Georgia Jean.
And it's so crazy because I'll be driving along, and I might be in some really, because just to help people understand, I live on the drop zones because I'm a skydiver, so I do these kind of pilgrimages across country at the end of every season.
Truly living her passion.
Living my passion, driving my car, and going from one drop zone to another, or just traveling around. And I'll be in like a super what's it called?
Internet zone.
No internet, no bar zone. I remember one time I was like driving across Montana, and they're like, you can't even get off the freeway on these roads. And I was like, it was getting close. It was probably like quarter to the hour of quarter to the hour before I had to start, and I'm driving along, and I really needed to pee as well, and I'm like, there's no roads coming off this road. I'm just going and going and going, and then finally like a road appeared, and I pulled off, and then I was able to find like a toilet, like a portaloo, just in the middle of nowhere, like near some kind of fishing dock that just happened to be there. And then I have to just drive around till I get like enough bars, like 1.5 bars.
And
then it's like
she always
6
pulls
o'clock.
through.
And
The circle always
pulls through, man.
always manifests some
Yeah.
type of bend the matrix
Bend
reality
the
for
matrix
you to
thing
get
that
the transmission.
Yeah,
You rarely miss a Monday, and you'll.
I never mean, like it's got to be something massive for me.
Yeah.
I was in a car accident once, and I
was dead in the hospital.
literally was
so sorry.
in the ambulance. Like, sorry guys, I'm just
Dead. I'm dead.
I was Just and that's the one time I've like cancelled. I've moved them very occasionally. Literally from the ambulance.
Quite
So it's
literally
like,
from the ambulance. I had to call in sick.
and then luckily I was like, I'm just in a car accident. Can someone just stay on the line and let everybody know? Going to hospital.
Just stay on the line.
Yeah. Actually, in that car accident was the car accident that got me like kind of to move to New York. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like a life-changing car accident. But so that's what it
the
takes.
point of the story
man.
is
Yeah, I'm committed.
she's committed.
I am committed.
Okay, guys, this is a kind of a fun. This is one of my favorite episodes
Yeah.
where we do the fire off Q&A. A
Yeah.
quick, like, so I have a bunch of questions
Yeah.
for this circle of light.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, show us the love.
Buy me a coffee.
Buy me a coffee.
Ooh.
Boom.
Ba-dum-bum.
You can't see it, but she just did that.
I did but yeah.
Yeah. She's a retired comedian.
Yeah, you should honestly watch the podcast if you can.
Yeah.
If you can, because
fun.
we have a lot of fun, and then we do pull a lot more faces and act a lot sillier.
Yeah.
Like the reasons why we're laughing our heads off half the time. You might not be
You
getting
gotta-
it on the
yeah,
audio
yeah, you gotta
version.
watch if you can. I don't want you to wreck in your car to watch.
But listen, anyway, you're watching it, receiving it.
Yes,
Fantastic.
great, yes.
So yeah, but occasionally.
And what was I gonna say on that?
We were gonna say buy me a coffee and
Bye.
and maybe come join us at the channel panel too.
Oh yeah.
Because we're going to be, Mia's going to come and she's going to be my VIP
I'm
friend
coming.
acquaintance. I'm going to be teaching 2 workshops, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other incredible Chanelers, including Bashar.
Channelers as in channelers.
Channelers, yeah.
Let me decode that for you guys.
Sorry, yeah. I love to play with words.
Bashar, Ruben
Bashar,
Langdon, Wendy
Wendy
Kennedy, Rob Gauthier, and so many
like,
more.
Like so many people.
It's gonna be
There's I
fun.
think there's like 12 people going to be on
Get
it.
ready for a gateway to be opened up,
it's
you
gonna
guys.
be
Activation
woo,
hour, activation weekend.
Yeah, activation week, and I think they're doing a like an ET contact event thing as well. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Usually
that's
Ruben
another
Langdon
thing.
holds like a CE5. Listen, last time I went to the Sedona one, which was not this last September, but the September before that. Oh, man, those energies where I actually was
Papa.
late, and it started because I was going a day later. And it started while
That's
I was
right.
on the plane at 2 o'clock, you guys.
yeah.
I knew it started. I was on the plane, and all of a sudden I was like, like the energy. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Just total gateways.
Total
It was
gateways.
wild.
And I feel like actually before that one, they started coming in saying there was something like 26 gateways going to be
24
open.
gateways were
24
opening.
Gateways were going to
Yeah.
open, and there was like, and then the first conference call we had
Oh,
after
that was
that.
crazy.
Man, like that's the thing with these gateways and events. There's always stuff leading up to it. Then there's the actual physical gathering, and then there's always more stuff
Yeah.
afterwards. Because after that,
Yeah,
whoa,
that
was
was
a
wild.
good one. Yeah.
The grit, the architects that create reality creation,
it
the
was like-
engineers of creation, reality, something like that.
Was it that? It was
came
actually.
in.
I feel what it was. Yeah, it was like, but it was like our personal ones. Like there was something along. It's in the library where it was like, when you incarnated. I have a feeling this is it. When you incarnated with a certain set of biological code programs to kind of get you through this first incarnation. First part of your life, because we're like the shift team. We're going from 3D to 5D, but we're in the meat suit. We're converting
Yeah.
it all as we're doing
We're
it.
the
Like, oh
shift
my
team.
God.
Like probably
Yeah.
not my kids. They get to enjoy the fifth
They're
dimension more
probably
than
going to
you
get
and
more
I.
of
And
that.
probably whoever's listening. We're the shift team,
we're the
guys.
Shift team. So it's she works hard for the money. Anyway, so but this energy came in that was basically like the consciousness, like we had put away somewhere this new set of biological codes that were going to be like almost like the rebirth codes that were coming into our body to like regenerate our body for the next stage.
Yeah. They said
of this
said
thing.
we were working on all your organs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh man, we
Yeah.
were like, whoa. And then because I had been quite, whatever you want to call it, clearing. I was like
Yeah, you
not
were.
well during
upgrading in a
that. I was
massive way.
upgrading. I was fever, sweats, blah, 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 just showing
Oh,
up,
when you get there.
doing my class, and then the energy comes in and
Yeah.
fills me up, and I'm like, channel
Yeah.
fever, and then I
Yeah.
just go home and be like,
Yeah, well,
shaking,
while she
purging,
was speaking at
purifying.
Sedona, she's talking about that she got
When we did-
majorly
yeah.
sick. She was completely
Yeah.
detoxing and,
It was
and
like what
upgrading.
shedding, whatever, and I knew it was for the group and for the that's the price of admission is me purifying biological consciousness for everybody. It's a good old
Good
time.
times.
Good times. But anyway, hopefully we've done that job. But the first conference call after that was magnificent. So often I do usually offer, like, people who sign up, I usually give something like, come and work with us a little bit before the conference or
Yeah.
afterwards,
That's a good idea.
because it's really good to have some kind
Integration.
of integration, like preparing
Yeah.
for it, and then coming to the event and then integrating afterwards.
Mhm.
And then you really get a lot out of
Yeah.
those events.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So
Okay.
channel panel.
Channel panel, West
Channel
Virginia
Panel,
in
West
November.
Virginia,
I don't know
yeah.
the exact date, but you can find it on Spread Your Third Eye
November
and
14th
Circle
to 16th.
Evolution.
And I think I'm doing the opening workshop.
Oh, nice.
Not of the workshops that come with the pass, but
Uh-huh.
the paid workshop. Mine's going to be one of the first
Cool.
ones. So that we're going to do Bending the Matrix. And
I
it's going to
love that.
be deep stuff.
All
Bend the
right,
Matrix
yeah.
into the life you love, everybody.
I love that.
Yeah.
Don't believe the illusion until you like it.
Really, that's one of my catch. We need the T-shirts of all the
I love
catchphrases.
that.
Get comfortable with the uncomfortable feelings. It's not as cute as don't believe the illusion
Until you love it.
But yeah. So
Okay, well, let me ask you this first, because we're gonna do a quick fire off Q&A,
Yeah.
guys, for this episode. And let me just give you that question, just for funsies.
Questions.
I'm gonna ask her, what do you experience when you're channeling?
yeah.
What is the relationship with Georgia Jean that you have? I'm gonna ask the circle
I'll
that.
ask the circle that, yeah, because I'd be curious what they have to say.
I am
about
curious too. Yeah, why Georgia?
that. Yeah. She
Just
said
kidding.
with a sneer on her face, like, meet me and go high school. Why Georgia?
I'm kidding. No, I'm
no,
kidding.
I know.
We're gonna touch on autism.
I really had to go through all that stuff too. Like, why me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I making this up?
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Like, it seems more than,
That's a lot to take
I'm
on.
worthy of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Autism, the Mandela Effect. I want to
Yeah.
ask about. What is the quantum field?
Well, let's see how many we get.
Well,
in
yeah,
this
and
thing.
then I was going to go over homelessness and ask about Antarctica. I don't know if I'm going to fit all those in,
Yeah.
but this is the roster just
This
to
is
give you a
yeah.
little hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's fun to just ask them about different things.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, me personally channeling, you asking me this before.
Yeah,
so
like
for
how?
me,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
like,
just So what exactly happens when you channel? Like, do you get downloads and then you like the zip files and then you repeat what you just got
I love that.
the downloads
do.
on,
That's
or are they
fun.
actually taking over and you're like an unconscious channel, or are you a conscious channel in there? So tell us how.
Yeah. Well, I'm conscious, so
Okay.
I am aware as I'm channeling of everything that's happening.
That's why her eyes are open, right? Because
That's why I can do it with my eyes open.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just something I've been able to do.
Yeah.
Because not everybody does
no,
who are conscious
That's
channels.
one of the reasons why it intrigued me more with people with their eyes open. I felt like.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's definitely easier. You know, a lot of times when I'm channeling for the show, it's at least 30% of material, I'd say at least, that I've channeled before. And then we start expanding into realms that I haven't channeled before based on the questions and stuff like that. So stuff I've channeled before, and because I've been doing it for 21 years, and it's not exactly the same, but I'm familiar with it, so it's easy. Sometimes you won't notice if you're not watching the podcast.
Gotta watch sometimes,
Watch
guys.
it.
See us.
I will close my eyes, or if you hear me going silent, then I have to kind of go in a little bit deeper and get something. And it is kind of, it's funny you said zip files, because I think when we think about computer files, we have zip files and then we have like the programs. I think sometimes the stuff is coming through like the night before, or,
Yeah.
you know, it's starting to come in. If you do meet me, for example, at the channel panel, you might find me extremely chatty, and I actually apologize for that in advance, because when I'm doing big events, there's so much energy starts coming in, and I'm just, as a verbal channel, I'm just like blah, 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 not very conscious or considerate about sharing the space with other people, but I kind of can't control it. It's just like just coming in so much. Like often I don't sleep well. It's just pouring in.
Wow.
And I'm just like, ooh, so much energy. So that's probably when the zip files are coming in.
Okay.
And then, but when we do the conference calls, I have my eyes closed and it's very meditative, and I'm often receiving images. I'm receiving words. I'm getting, especially if it's new material. And in the conference calls, we often have much longer periods of silence as well, especially if something big and new is coming in. Like the circle will come in and be like, "Hey, welcome, welcome," and then they'll do a relaxation for everybody, which will be for me as well.
Yeah.
And then the images, it'll start kind of pumping. It's almost like a pumping, like who's coming in, I never know. And then it'll start pumping like sun consciousness. It might pump for a little bit before I even say, or they say through me, we're here, it's the sun consciousness, we're bringing this forward. Because sometimes the energies are coming in and my mind's like, who is it? Who's coming in? Who is it? And there'll be a certain feeling and my mind might be going, oh, that feels like the sun, or that feels like Christ consciousness, or that feels like 1 degree of source, or whatever it is. But they won't say it. They don't say what I want to say or I'm thinking. I'm just there when I notice that I'm doing it, receiving. So I've got to still myself, and then it'll come through. And they're really controlling my mouth at that point. I can't say anything that isn't being said. So I'm kind of like a puppet.
Okay.
But in order for me to relax, they have to kind of like pump it to me a little bit. So I start getting a sense of these concepts. I mean, the stuff we're talking about is, like I don't know it.
Yeah.
Truly. I'm not. Some of the ideas, I know that some of it's starting to come through because even like as I'm talking with people about stuff, things will just start flowing through. And then later they'll say in the conference calls. So that could be, say, where a zip file has been launched in my brain and I'm already in a knowingness of some of the information, but then it's just kind of like got to come through. Like I've just got to let go and let it come through. But yeah, images to help me understand what the concept might be. I'll get images. I'll get all kinds of like.
But then
stuff.
they just come through you, and you don't have to like think.
I guess it's still on some level as a processor. I have to find words for it, or my system has to find words for it. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. So I'm not thinking, but when they're pausing, or they'll be like searching my brain sometimes for the right word.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll be like something like that's going on, or they'll be searching my brain. Yeah, it's hard. It's like matching what's in my brain and in my being to the concepts. So,
interesting. Okay.
So as a channel, especially because they're still using what I've got. I've never channeled a different language.
Yeah.
But I might be guided to go study something.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. When there was a period of time where I was working in a bookstore and like reading tons and tons and tons of books. So I was being guided to learn more about different things so they could start
so they can use your vocabulary and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and just
because you couldn't. You've talked about like when I've been in sessions with the Circle of Light. Like Georgia is not a physicist, so she can't really explain with her vocabulary all the stuff that we know as in our knowledge. But because Georgia's.
But they'll transmit the energy of it. Yeah. And then if you receive those frequencies, then maybe you'll get a book that'll start like validating some kind of physics version of what they're talking about. Or, I was guided to read different things, like I said, so I can have some ability to express things. But mostly the ideas are like new to me. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we bring them in to ask the rest of the the questions?
Go.
Thank you for that.
Hi, yes, indeed, dear ones. We are here and we are most delighted to make connection with you here on another magnificent day in your earth plane. All right, dear ones. Yes, how can we be of assistance to you today?
Well, we have about 5 to 7 questions.
Indeed.
And the first one is I just asked Georgia what it's like channeling your collective. It's not just one of you. What is it like for you guys to channel through Georgia, and what is your relationship? Why did you choose Georgia?
Indeed. All right. So we're going to take a moment with the channel here so we can, especially when you're asking about her, we have to quiet her mind even more to allow something to come through, because especially if it feels personal to her, she might be starting to have more of a personal mind, ideas popping up or interactions. So half of the time what we're doing with her is knocking her out
Mm-hmm.
just so we can get it through. So
And by the way, side note, I have sessions with the Circle of Light, and they will quite literally put me to sleep and then wake me back up.
indeed, yes, because when you are asking to be changed, when you have a session, you're usually asking for something to be changed in your current reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have strong aspects of your egoic consciousness that wants to keep things the same, even though consciously you want to change, then we have to sort of soften those gateways a little
Talk
bit.
about cutting edge technology. No anesthesia here, baby. Just the Circle of Light,
Just
literally putting you to sleep.
putting you to sleep, knocking you out. That way the information can come in on the subconscious level first and then emerge into your awareness, and also enact change on a deeper level, because most of the programming that you're trying to change is in more of that unconscious realm.
Yeah.
Because if you could consciously pivot things, you probably would have already done it.
Correct.
Yes, you're not reaching out to talk to a group of non-physical beings through a former comedian. That's a pretty desperate act.
That's pretty desperate. I'm desperate. I'm
Pretty
desperate.
act. Or highly curious. Highly
Both.
curious. Both. So how are we working with the vessel? So certainly a lot of what is happening has been set up with significant pre-alignments, let's put it that way. Why Georgia? Pre-alignment. Pre-alignment from the broader sense of this shift in consciousness. The creative consciousness that is Georgia, this isn't her first rodeo or its first rodeo in participating in a shift in consciousness.
So you're saying she and you have had these relationships on other dimensions and other worlds?
Yes. So we categorize this experience as being a function of consciousness that has occurred in other dimensions and realms.
Okay.
And Georgia, it's really not Georgia from the little me. It is the broader intelligence that focused into Georgia's body prior even to making this. We are an extension of the consciousness that Georgia is.
Okay.
All right. So what we mean by that is Georgia is the most saturated aspect of the egoic identity, but she is us, as you are as well. But the stream that is coming through is an intelligence that has participated in planetary and evolutionary shifts in other dimensional realms. Now, when Georgia incarnated, there's the forgetfulness of all this. It isn't helpful necessarily for a child aspect to be processing the weight of the world in kindergarten, although there can often be a sense of it even in that spirit of the child, a level of wisdom or an awareness that's not typical for most of the kids on the playground. So she is what we call a master consciousness. This isn't the first rodeo. There has already been participation in understanding it, but she's, as many of you are going through the remembrance of that full capability, as you all are as well. So it's an agreement before incarnation that this would occur.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily that we picked her like an audition, that she was picked. it is that the strength of the focus of the incarnation always included this.
Okay.
So there was an interest, there was a focus in learning, and when it got to a point where a match could be made, where the veil that was keeping that closed could be opened, and that included some of the things like her leaving the comedy store and such things, to allow that opening to happen, then it's sort of like the plug goes into the outlet, and now here's what you have. Boom. And it really is like a computer plugging into the wall. Like, it's just a system that is designed to transmit.
Okay.
Yes. She's still a person.
So you can tap into her, brain. Do you go through her soul or her brain? How does that work when you start using her vocabulary and all that?
Ah, indeed. All right. So think about frequency matching. So the frequencies are downloading,
Mm-hmm.
and as the frequencies download, there's a sort of a ping off in the brain, if you will. The ping, the word matches this frequency. This word matches this frequency. This word matches this frequency.
Okay.
This is why, to be a verbal channel in the way that Georgia is, it is very helpful to have a good understanding of language and communication, which she incarnated with that capacity to be good at reading, writing. She also has a very strong linear mind that helps her interpret these concepts, these all consciousness concepts, in a way that can be expressed in a way that you could linearly understand.
Okay.
There still has to be a logic and understand. So George's incarnation to do this particular work included high skills in English, mathematics, physics, science, because all of these things contribute to, as well as
So you have to be really smart.
We don't want to make this seem like
No.
an elite thing, because everybody is able to open up and connect as a channel. And if you have the desire, you probably have the programming inside. But the particular way that consciousness is expressing through Georgia, which is more about the fundamental grids and foundations of reality and how to shift it, those particular setups are helpful.
Yeah.
Other people are also channeling things that are really helpful in other different ways.
Yeah, okay.
And they'll be set up that way, or you'll be set up that way to do it. Or along the way, because remember, the initial setup, going into the multidimensional field is not who you have to stay to be. And what we mean by that, Georgia isn't the first person who's ever done this, or even necessarily the first wave of this particular shift, but she's had to be more of a transitional consciousness, meaning a lot less of this information has been out there publicly as it is now. People opening up now, there are so many channels to listen to. There's a lot more information that you could consciously be attracted to or processing that would prepare you to then bring in another piece, you see. So she had to have a lot of things set up.
Yeah.
But as you go, all of you are learning through these earlier waves how to dissolve the mind. You're actually able to bring in ability to understand mathematics or science or more. And you also have the internet and so many other things where you can now AI, where you can learn a lot of this stuff consciously if you want to open up more. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, I'm going to just inject one question here that I didn't have written down. What do you think about having the what's his name? Not Donald Trump, the other guy. Oh, Elon Musk.
Indeed.
His microchip in the brain.
All right. Very good indeed. So,
because we're talking about information and downloading information.
Downloading information. So it really speaks to multidimensionality. It really speaks to a lot of what is happening with the evolutionary shift. It really speaks to this idea that you are not limited by the incarnation and the meat suit that you incarnated with, and that you are mutable, creative experiences and you can change things. So we're not here to make a moral judgment or a judgment about whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. What we're saying is these ideas, whether you're into them or not, are very much reflective of this potentiality and that you can have these changes. Now, what you do with all of these things that are perceived as evolutions in science, in bioengineering, biohacking, in many of these realms, like any power, it is going to become the reflection of your alignment. So we always go back. If you're feeling freaked out by these things, even if you're feeling excited about these things, make sure you come back into your heart and let your heart help to unravel these potentialities in a way that keeps it not dangerous, not violent,
not
polarizing, but useful. Your medical system is useful. It's a tool. But when the egoic framework comes in and starts to try and control it, you from that survival perspective where the resources want to be controlled by certain groups to maintain that survival hierarchy system, now you start getting in more trouble as a collective. So this is really your journey. Generally, whatever's pressing your buttons, where you might be feeling, wow, that seems out of control or weird or wrong or bad, we're saying that's your edge to really look at the aspect of your programming that could generate a really disturbing outcome out of that.
Okay.
Yes.
So what can you say about autism and why it's happening and why it's increasing so much in California, especially, and maybe even the vaccines with it?
Is there a connection?
Yeah.
And of course, this is a real hot topic.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to say to you, frequency first, manifestation second. Always storylines are generated out of frequency. All right. So with the dear ones who are incarnating and experiencing what is described as autism, these are highly multidimensional fragments of consciousness, let's put it that way. We want to be very careful in how we express this, because you're all fragments of consciousness. But most of you are more fully integrated into your incarnations and into the biology that supports your incarnation.
So we're fully integrated to the human form.
Into the human form. And more of the resources of your consciousness are operating to process the existence of your human form, which
keep
is
us integrated.
Is to keep you integrated, keep your body working as well.
Yeah.
So the human brain, which is the motherboard of your system, basically, only has a certain amount of capacity of what it can process. So that's just the biological limitation of the brain. So when you have certain dear ones who are incarnating, and we would say there's still a vast amount of the brain that is, we don't want to say underutilized, but there's plenty of scope in this. We don't want to frighten people with this idea that if you start bringing in more broader consciousness, things are really going to atrophy physically for you. But there are some dear ones who incarnate that are processing such high frequencies and vibrations of consciousness, and also multidimensionally. So they're existing, yes, here in a body, but they're also existing in other dimensions much more viscerally to how they are processing reality than you, that it's using up a lot of their brain power to operate in a physical body and process all that information, which is why you see that there is certain shutting downs of the physical system in order to hold that capacity, whether it's just a shutting down of the biological physical senses. So they're not processing physical sense reality in the same way that you are processing your physical sense reality, because they're processing a lot more of this multi-dimensional experience. And so what we want to say is that any storyline that appears to be putting people into this state, if they haven't already incarnated, showing signs of autism, which is just this sort of state of experience, and they start to shut down more, we would say that that consciousness is making that choice from a broader place, and the storyline that seems to be the cause of that is a storyline coming out of it. So the storyline is coming secondary to the choice of that consciousness to go in more into that multidimensional state.
Okay.
Now, the reason why there is more of, it appears that there is more dear ones going into this multidimensional state, it's because of this shift in consciousness. So they are more attuned to the higher frequencies and the potentialities that are part of what you would call the 5D shift. They're also operating in higher frequency dimensional realms as well, helping to anchor seed this consciousness by coming into human form at all.
Wow.
Because you can't...
So they're basically half incarnated into their bodies so they can stay in other realms.
While helping to bring that consciousness and seed it here on Earth.
Okay.
Now, as the human collective evolves, these ones will become more of who they are, will be perceived as more of who they actually are.
Because we're raising up our frequency to meet them.
Because you'll be raising up your frequency to meet them and to actually be able to perceive and understand and experience what they have.
Then they're not, a lot of them are non-speaking, non-verbal, and really they're just like waiting for us to start talking to them telepathically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to live in an exchange of consciousness that is more of your multidimensional potentiality. Yes.
What about Antarctica? What's all this talk about Antarctica? And there's a whole other, part of the earth there and civilizations. Can you tap into that? I know you haven't channeled on that before.
Indeed, yes. So we've talked to you about portals.
Mm-hmm. Global portals.
Yes, which are here on Earth, which is a multi-dimensional playing field, which has the capacity to support many different life forms, including, for example, your how people in the 3D are observing autistic children who are nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
Their perception is coming from their 3D position.
Okay.
But Earth is happy to support these consciousnesses in these forms. And around the world, there are different areas that have been switched on, switched off to support different types of existences here on Earth. Now, a lot of the times when people are tuning into an area and saying there is a whole other realm here, they are tuning into different vibrational potentialities of that place in your perception of linear space.
Okay.
All right.
So it's not necessarily meaning it has to be in Antarctica on that part of the globe. It's just...
So we would say somewhere like Antarctica, anywhere in your globe has a certain frequency realm, if that makes sense. Even how, of course, you perceive reality through your minds is through that linear time space reality. The way you construct reality is the way your brains can put it together.
Okay.
All right. So once you go into a different dimensional field, once you're operating in a different dimensional field, you're also going to see time and space as different. But how you would perceive something like Antarctica, we also spoke about the Sahara the other day. Different areas have different frequencies to them, and you perceive them maybe as a hostile land, but it's just outside of your parameters of being able to process what's there. Now, once you start to process different frequencies, you also start to develop different technologies that would support what life is like in this realm. You start to be able to access the area.
So wait, is there something more in the Sahara desert that we can't see, but it's at a different vibration, and so it just looks like a desolate land to us right now in our 3D egoic construct?
Yes, we were talking about Africa. We were talking
Yeah.
about different places. There are different, different vibrational fields is the best way we can explain it through the channel. That when you are able to process the frequencies that are generated by that field, and also the way it's plugged in or plugged on, like switched on or switched off in this entire global shift that's going on, you're going to be able to perceive what's actually capable of being generated there.
Okay, capable. So it's not currently being generated to anything. It's just...
Well, beyond the illusion of time and space and the egoic framework, everything's in existence.
Okay.
So again, this speaks to, does it exist or doesn't exist? Well, it's just in the bandwidth that you're perceiving your reality in is going to say whether it exists or not.
So unicorns and fairies can exist in dragons.
Sure.
If you can imagine it, guys, since God is infinite, it probably exists.
It exists in some way.
Oh.
But your idea of a dragon's still probably coming through your linear mind.
Okay.
All right. So it's this sort of the way that your mind can put together this
energy.
concept of this energy, of this consciousness.
Okay.
Would, if you were face to face with something that had become an embodiment of a dragon, would it look like that? Maybe, maybe not.
Okay. Unicorns. They're not cute, pretty rainbows with a horn on their head. I'm upset about that.
How does it make you feel?
Happy and glittery.
Happy and glittery. So that's your frequency range that you're seeking. All right. This happy, glittery thing. And when you, and magical, which is all sort of operating outside of linear time and space and things becoming. So that's your frequency that you're kind of trying to hone in on and learn. And if you want to sit with the archetype of a dragon or a unicorn as you're even perceiving it right now, it may really help to lighten you up or give you a greater sense of power, which would be that dragon energy. When you look at how dragons are portrayed in your media and this thing, it's like this embodiment of this power and this ability to transcend distance and time and space, whatever romantic version you have of it. There's an aspect of that consciousness that's resonating on that, and you can tap into it. You can tap into it right now and start to receive frequencies of it. That's why we're saying, well, what people are saying is happening inside the Earth or in Antarctica or in these places. If you start tapping into that frequency zone, then your minds are going to start generating stories that make that frequency make sense.
Okay.
And a lot of your sort of myths and metaphors and this sort of stuff, your brain power is not currently focused on creating that.
Okay.
But you sense it in the vibrational field that extends beyond what your brain is currently generating for you.
Okay. What about the Mandela Effect? What's going on with that?
Because this really speaks to concepts of memory and Just give us a moment so we can
Sure.
download the concept in here. So while we're doing this with the channel, would you like to explain your understanding of the Mandela effect? Because some dear ones wouldn't know what that means.
Okay, so for example, from my memory, the Monopoly guy always had the glass eye, the glass, eye on his.
Monocle.
What is it?
Monocle.
Oh, okay, a monocle. Yeah, thank you. The circle eye has more of a human vocabulary than I do on this. So smart. And now it does not. And the Fruit of Loom had the cornucopia forever as I was a kid, and now it does not. And J.C. Penney is spelled JCPENNEY, but from my memory, it was always PENNY without the EY, right? So a lot of these things, and there was, somebody said there was like even a Sinbad movie that they said just didn't exist at all. So it's just like, what's happening here with all the past memories and our actual reality right now?
All right. So this is a big one. So you have collective memory.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about popular things like logos,
Mm-hmm.
it's speaking to collective agreements on how reality was and is shaped. And the signatures, so we have to take a moment with the channel to get this through. The energetic signatures that you hold as your memories of how you have perceived things in the past compared to how they are now being experienced, that history would say it's always been this way, but dear ones are having memories that it isn't.
Oh, yeah. Let me just say this one. The Bernstein Bears. And now it's, those childhood books, the Bernstein Bears. That's another one that was like, no, it was always the Bernstein Bears. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So there is this shift in collective memory. And so again, we have shared with you about the now moment being really the only point where manifestation is existing. So this now moment is the moment where reality is being generated. And everything to this now moment is relative. There's always mind that is distorting the facts in some way, quote unquote.
So it's not from us parallel reality shifting.
Well, it is that as well.
Okay.
But we're trying to go a little bit deeper to help you understand why you're experiencing it in this kind of confusing way. But what it's really speaking to more is why these stories show up for you is because it's usually speaking to something bigger that's happening in the energetic framework, which is the shifts in collective memory generally. Memory is a construct. History is an energetic construct that is still only perceived by your current now moment experience.
Whoa. So it can shift all the time. And a lot of what you're doing when you're quote unquote doing healing work, for example, if you are healing trauma, you say it's, this is family trauma, ancestral trauma, you're not just fixing this for the future, you are actually even energetically rewriting the past.
So when you heal for yourself, you may be changing the lives and the realities of the people that you perceive to be your ancestors. When you do a past life healing, you are shifting the reality that is your perception of that past life. You're actually moving all of it into a different bandwidth of creation. So we keep talking to you about this idea that you create your entire reality, including
The
your
past.
perception of the past, including your perceptions of future projections and potentialities. This is why you all keep saying, what's the future going to be like? And we're saying it's changing all the time.
Oh, wow.
Even if we said what's going to happen in the future, it isn't relevant because your future will happen in the now moment, and it will happen now.
Okay.
Based on your energetic signature. Now, can you experience the 5D now? Sure, be in your heart right now. You're in 5D.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sustain it? So when you walk out of the house, you're still in 5D, or you're going to pop back in your head. So this Mandela effect. So when we so the whole thing you are doing as focal point creators is you're moving into a new section of consciousness, a new bandwidth of creation, which will include your sense of memory as well. So we would say that it's sort of like from the now moment, you are having a sense of old bandwidths.
Okay.
But
Old parallel realities.
old, yes, an old, yes. So
In the simplest of terms.
in the simplest of terms, we in this case we wouldn't say it's actually a parallel reality. It's a memory of the bandwidth that you were in.
Okay.
So as you are
So the burned stain bearers is a higher vibrational memory.
Wherever you are right now is what is manifest. If you've been doing quote unquote this work, the concept of raising your vibration, whatever you're observing now is this higher vibration of what you have an echo memory of perceiving before. Think about it in this, that you have this meat suit. We keep just using these sort of quote unquote gross terms to really break it down for you. The brain is like your meat processor.
Yeah.
And so your meat processor remembers generating reality in that old bandwidth. And in that old bandwidth, it was there. So it's like a shadow memory that's like, it's like a ghost file in your computer that sort of you're trying to hold this dual awareness of the new version, the old version. That would be the best way we would say. So has it shifted? Yes, because you have shifted.
Oh, wow.
And your collective has shifted. And we're giving you that these are like lighthearted versions for you to wrap your mind around the idea that your sense of history is also going to change.
So this is kind of like bringing attention. This Mandela effect is showing us that we are
Changing the past.
And the reason why we can remember one thing and not the other, and remember both, see one but remember something different, is actually something bringing it to our awareness that, look, we are shifting.
Yes, that you are shifting, and also sort of saying, helping you understand as well that your brain is sort of like the slowest piece of your
processing reality.
Yes,
Yeah.
like in terms of catching up. So this is why at a certain point, because you kind of you energetically process things, mentally, emotionally. We talk about this physically, energetically, and biologically. So when people have done a fair amount of clearing and processing on different levels, we also come in and do the delete files to really get that out of your brain. There will be a time in what you will perceive as your now moment, that is the future, that even the Mandela effect won't be something you're really
remembering.
Okay. Because it's part of the shift crew experience
Wow.
to hold some of this duality of experience going on.
Well, we'll let you chew on that, guys.
Yes. Does it still exist? Does the VW sign is another one that people talk about with this? Does that old VW sign exist? Does the Sinbad movie exist? Yes, it all exists in a different focal point of the universe that you're experiencing, or sea of consciousness that you're focused on.
It exists in another parallel universe, guys.
Yes,
Welcome to the fifth dimension.
Mustn't have been a very good movie if
got deleted from the human collective consciousness.
The human collective. Some of these things can be speaking to certain themes or whatever that you're deleting files on, or this sort of thing. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that we got up to an hour, so we'll have more questions next time.
Indeed, dear ones. We love to sort of expand on these ideas with things that you can relate to, which is why we create this space to talk about what's up in your lives, as opposed to just the Monday night awakenings or the one-on-one sessions where things can be specific for that group.
Yeah.
We're here to assist humanity to make sense of that which doesn't make sense of the mind and bring you into a new dimension of heart-created reality.
We're lucky to have you. Thank you for coming through to help humanity.
Indeed. Yes, dear one. We adore you also very much until we're meeting in this way or some other way. We love you very much. And for now, we'll say goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye. Woo!
All right.
Got me working hard on the multidimensional. There's a little topic hop.
A lot to unpack there, guys. We're gonna leave you with that. You can find the Circle of Light and Georgia at circleevolution.com.
Circle Evolution, if you really want to work on deleting those files.
Yeah.
And, if you love the Sinbad movie that doesn't exist anymore, maybe we can get you back there. I don't know.
And you can find me at Spread Your Third Eye Evolution.
Oh, we're merging your realities right here. Give it up for Mia for great questions as well. She really really having someone who can ask questions and keep dialing in is such an important part of this work, and speaking for the collective. I think you are often downloading the questions from the collective field, like what people want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And we always have these little, what should we talk about? And it's sort of sitting in
and then
that.
I get some downloads.
And then we get some downloads and you're like, how about this? How about that? And, feel free to message
comment, guys. If you have any questions that you're curious about, comment. Or if you want to come into the studio and hang out with me and Georgia and interview the Circle of Light, click the link below to apply, or go to spreadyourthirdeye.com and click the apply a button.
We're all like delete files right now.
Sometimes these energies come in and I will literally blank. So you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it. Okay, this is authentic. Maybe I'll edit this out. Maybe I will.
You've been yawning in a couple of sessions, and that's because they're like phasing her mind out to be part of this field with us.
They'll just completely zap my questions sometimes. I'm like, okay, you're telling me to shut up right now.
Yeah. Do you feel that sometimes?
Oh, for sure. When 1 Degree from Source came in, they were like, I literally could not think about. Usually I'm like so inquisitive, like, wait, I want to do this. I want to, and they were like blank. I'm like, it did.
You will not speak in this session.
It did feel that way. I was like, okay, I pick up what you're putting.
Little me. Big guns are coming in today to run the show. The big dogs
coming in.
Big dogs and consciousness coming in. Set the record straight.
Sit down, little girl.
That's how I feel, man. I'm like, oh man, my whole life has been like that. Like my little me be like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna be on a sitcom.
No, you're
Big
not.
dogs come in.
Do you remember the contract we had?
Remember the real reason you signed up.
You're gonna go through ego death after ego death after ego death.
Till you remember, and you will embrace it. But we'll give you a fun podcast once you get there. And you'll still reach millions of people.
Yes.
So it's funny, but we're all, it's a collaboration. All right.
Well, we love you all, and we'll see you on the next one.